Hi, boys and girls. Today we're starting Chapter 6, and we're going to be doing Chapter 6.1 here, Lesson 6.1, in just a moment. But before we even get started, I think we need to go back and talk about this unit. This unit is about converting units of measurement. So you've had measurement all the way through elementary school until now. And in sixth grade, we learned to take those units of measure and we learned to convert them to different sizes. So, hopefully you're going to get this lesson in class, but if you're not, I want you to really listen. I'm going to go over this really quickly. Look at this poster that I have right here, okay? It's in the blue box. It says measurement. There are three kinds of things that we measure. There are other things, there's more than that, but there's three on this poster. Anything that you can measure is something you can convert its size. So we have rulers, so we can length is one of them. We're going to talk about length today, where we have inches, we have feet, we have yards, we have centimeters. We're going to talk about the difference between customary and metric in a minute. We have something called capacity, and that's how much a container can hold. So you're looking at liquid measures like a cup or a pint or a quart or like that gallon of milk in your refrigerator. Another thing that we measure is weight, such as pounds. Okay, how many pounds are you? That's one thing you should know. You can break that down even to smaller, into ounces, or really big like an elephant, into tons. All right, there are other things we can measure, such as time or temperature, and so forth, but we're not going to get into those right at this minute. I want you to take a look at this poster first, because measurement has to do with anything that you can measure, that you need to know an amount of. Okay, this next poster I'm going to pull down is going to talk about the metric system versus a customary system. Customary is a system that we use here in the United States. It involves inches, feet, miles, yards, cups, pints, quarts. Like when you cook, you have your cup that you measure with. We have weight, which is pounds. This is probably the most common that you know, or like cans of food are in ounces. Okay, or you have temperature, which is in Fahrenheit. There is another standard or type of measure called the metric system. This is used in most of the world besides the United States. They use a more standard system called meters or liters or grams, or in temperature, it's Celsius. Okay, so the metric system is different. It has just one word that stands for one unit, and then we add a prefix to it, and I'm going to go into that a little bit later in this lesson. This video may end up being a little bit longer today. That's okay, because we need to understand how to do this work. All right, so I will make sure you understand that I'm going to start today with customary, the customary system, okay? And then we're going to get into metric. All right, let me move this out of the way. Down here at the bottom, okay? All right, so today our objective is we're going to be converting units of length. It says, how can you use ratio reasoning to convert from one unit of length to another? All right, so for instance, feet to inches. You've seen a ruler. We've used rulers before. You know what I'm talking about. Okay, so we're going to be doing some converting today. But before we do that, you need to read this paragraph. This is really important. There's a very important vocabulary word right here in the yellow. Okay, I just trying to draw an arrow to here for you. Okay, in the customary measurement system, some of the common units of length are inches, feet, and yards, and the miles. You can multiply any appropriate conversion factor to convert between units. A conversion factor is what's this next word? Say it out loud with me. It is a rate in which two quantities are equal, but they use different units. Okay, so let's start right now over here in the purple box. Do you see the purple box over here on the side? These are conversion factors right here. Okay, I'm going to put a circle around it. Conversion factors are like, for instance, there are 12 inches in 1 foot. If you get out a ruler right now and you look at that ruler is broken down into 12 individual unit pieces that are called inches. And then we even break it down into farther, like a half an inch or a quarter inch. So we can even go smaller if we want to. Okay, the next unit is the yard. There are 36 inches in a yard. Now, you know what a yardstick is, and if I were standing in front of you, I'd pull a yardstick out, and you'd get to see that. A yard is also measured in a bigger unit called feet. So instead of, I can go from the foot right to the yard, okay? Now, a mile is like when you get in your car and you drive to Walmart. That's going to be about a mile, or probably from your house, maybe 2, okay? That can be converted into feet, 5,280, or you could also just make it into yards. That's that larger measure of 3 feet, okay? These are conversion factors. These are key to the work that you're going to be doing. They're very, very important. All right, so we're going to go ahead, we're going to take a look at the problem that's in your book today, and I'm going to show you how to do this as if it were a ratio. That's because the standard that we are learning says that you're supposed to learn it as if it were a ratio, okay? There is an easier way to do it, and maybe I will show you how to do that later. But basically, it's the same thing. It's just another way to do this work. Okay, let's read the problem. In a soccer game, Kyle scored a goal. Kyle was 33 feet from the goal. How many yards is he from the goal? So it's telling me that Kyle is, excuse me here, 33 feet from the goal. But I want to know what that is going to be in yards. Do you see the equal sign? That means equivalent. That means equal. Okay? That means equal. So that's what I'm doing today. I am going to find what 33 feet are equal to in yards. Okay? All right, so let's come down here to the first key. It says convert 33 feet to yards. We're going to use that conversion factor that you see right here to do that. Now, I'm going to go and I need to know which one's smaller, which one's larger. I'm going to start here. This is smaller. It says feet are smaller than yards. I'm going to say smaller to larger. That just helps me to know what I'm doing. I have a smaller unit that I'm changing into a larger unit. Feet to yards. Okay, so let's find the standard. Okay, how many inches are in 1 yard? Okay, or how many feet are in 1 yard? So how many feet are in 1 yard? Okay, we're going to come down here and we see that there are 3 feet in 1 yard. That's what you see here. This is our conversion rate right here. And you notice they wrote it as a fraction. They have 1 yard over 3 feet. Okay, so here's where it gets interesting. I know they have it written down here, but I'm going to write it to the side. I'm going to write 33 feet. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and leave the standard on here or the measure on here so you can see what I'm talking about. I'm going to make it into a fraction and I'm going to put it over 1. The reason that I'm going to put it over 1 is simple. Okay, it's not a percent. It's not, I don't have to put over 100 or anything. It represents itself. It is an amount. And any whole number over 1 is itself. So because it's a whole number, I want it over 1. I'm going to make an equivalent ratio, okay? But I'm going to use the conversion factor as my multiplication piece, okay? So I'm instead of an equal sign here, I'm going to use a multiplication sign. I'm going to multiply that conversion factor by the whole amount. Okay, so I have 33 feet. Now, if I have feet here, I want to make sure that I have feet in the opposite corner. There are 3 feet in 1 yard, and this is what I'm converting to. I'm converting to yards, so I need to make sure that I have that particular standard or that particular conversion. Okay, so now I'm going to take 33 times 1, and I get 33. And I take 1 times 3, and I get 3. Okay. Boys and girls, basically what you have is an improper fraction, right? So I'm just going to do this simply. I'm going to divide 33 by 3, and I get 11 over 1, which is 11. So the answer is 11 yards. 33 feet is equal to 11 yards. Okay? I hope you're following me. I'm going to go ahead and erase this because I have another problem here that the book is also going to give us another example of another problem. So I want to have room to work here for you today. All right, so down here for the second one, it says, well, how many inches from the goal was Kyle? Okay, now we're going to use, this time I want to know inches from the goal. We know we still have 33 feet. Whoops. 33 feet is going to be equal this time to inches. I don't want to know a bigger measure. I want to find the smaller measure. So I'm going to use a conversion factor. I'm going to stick with my 33 over 1 like I had before. This is feet, right? So when I do my conversion factor, I need feet down below here. Okay, so I need to know this is larger and this is smaller this time. It's opposite. How many smaller units are in one larger unit? So how many inches are in a foot? Well, there's 12. Okay, so I have 12 inches in 1 foot. Okay, so now this is not equals. I keep doing that. I'm so sorry. This is going to be times. So I'm going to multiply. We are working with equivalent ratios is what we are doing. So my brain just automatically goes there. This time I'm going to take 33 times 12. That's 6, that's 7, 0, 3, 3. So it's 6, 10, 406, correct? Okay. You can check my math for me if you want. 6. Feels right. Okay, so 406. So my answer is going to literally be 406 inches or equal to 33 feet because the two bottom numbers are 1. So I have 406 over 1. So I already have my answer. If I have a 1 on the bottom, then that is my answer. All right, boys and girls, what we've done so far is we've used the conversion factor to solve how to convert from one size of a unit to another size of a unit of length. The nice thing about this is whether you're doing capacity or you're doing metric, the system that we just learned is the same. We're going to be using a conversion factor. It'd be really good if you can memorize this information because it will help you to be able to access it quickly. You don't have to, but it is very, very helpful. All right? So I've done 2 problems with you so far. Hopefully you're going to understand this. Now this is just the customary unit or system. There is another system called the metric system. Okay? And I'm going to take you through this 2 different ways. So you're going to have to really, if you need to stop the video, take a break, think about it, go back and work a couple problems, please do so. Stop this video, pause it, and come back and finish watching the video later. Because what I'm going to be doing now is I'm going to be working with metric units. Okay? I have 2 different ways I'm going to show you. So this is the second way here in just a moment. I want to start with this actually. Let's talk about the metric unit. When I'm talking about length, I'm talking about the meter, okay? Right here, that word meter. Meter means 1, okay? So you've seen this before where you have words like centa, okay? Centimeter, okay? Centa is a prefix. And the centimeter means that it's going to tell you what kind of meter you have. So if you have a meter stick, your meter stick is also broken down into sections by tens and down into sections by hundreds and so forth. Okay, so everything on this side is less than 1. Everything on this side is more than 1. So if I have a deciliter, that's actually 10 meters, okay? And this might be really hard to understand, but the beauty of the metric system is it's based on tens. Everything we multiply or divide by is based on 10. Okay, so let's go back. Let's take a look at the book's way of doing this really quickly. We're going to use the exact same method that was used before by using a conversion factor, but you're going to have to know that conversion factor, what it will be. So I want to convert 73.9 meters into centimeters. Now, centimeters are smaller than a meter. I know my conversion factor is this. 100 centimeters are in 1 meter. Centi means 100, okay? So that means there are 100 centimeters in 1 meter. Okay. The reason I'm using centimeters is because I'm converting to centimeters. I'm going to start with my original value, which is 73.9 meters. Down here, you'll see at the bottom, you have an M that's crossed out, okay? We're going to put under here 1, okay? And we're going to put the 100 on top. Remember, the same measurement item has to be catty corner from each other. That's really important. That'll help you. Okay, so now I'm going to take 73.9 times 100. Okay? All right. Now I can do this multiplication. I have 2 zeros, or I could just simply do this. Let me do some simple math with you today to save some time. Okay? Now, how many places are behind the decimal? 1. So there should be my answer. Okay? All right, the easiest way to do this is if you would take something times 100, you'd literally just move your decimal 2 places. 1, 2, right? Okay, so my answer is going to be 7,390 centimeters. Notice the numbers and their order did not change. The only thing that changed is the decimal. That's the nice thing about the metric system, because you're multiplying or you're going to divide by 10. You're going to either multiply by tens, a power of 10, or you're going to divide by a power of 10. Okay, so that means 100 or 1,000 or something like that. Okay, I know this is a really long lesson, but this is lesson 1. Let's go back to that other page. I have an easier way for you to do this. And this is the way that we teach it. If you look in my room, there's a poster on the wall with this particular picture on it. There's a reason, because I want you to be able to have this information and not have to memorize it this year, but eventually you will have to. Okay, what if I were going to convert 150 centimeters into meters? What would that be? All right, so boys and girls, here's what I'm going to have you do. I'm going to put an X on centa. Okay, let's use a different color here. I'm going to put an X on centa, and I'm going to put an X on meter. Okay, now we're going to count how many places we move to get from centa to meter. We're going to go 1 and we're going to go 2. Okay, so that means I'm moving this direction, so I'm going to divide. Okay, now I've gone 10 times 10, or I've gone 1, 2 places, so I'm going to divide by what? 100. Literally, when you move to the left, you're going to divide. Okay, so see the 2 zeros? Okay, if I divide by 2 zeros, this is how easy this is. Start with the decimal, because it's a whole number where it is, and I'm going to move over 1, 2 places. What do I get? I get 1.5 meters. It's that easy if you use the chart. So I'm going to do another one, because you're probably going, what in the world just happened? I don't get it. Okay. Let's do another problem. Let's do, I don't know, let's go the other way. I have 4 kilometers. Okay, km is kilometers, and I'm going to convert that. I want to know what it's equal to if it is in meters. Okay? Okay, so I'm going to start at kilo, and I'm going to go all the way to meter. Now, I'm going to count how many bumps or how many times I walk. I go 1, 2, and I go 3. So if I bump 3 places, that means I'm going to have a 1 with 1, 2, 3 zeros on it. Because I bumped 3 places, I have 3 zeros. You can make it 0, 0, 0 if you want. But you still have that power of 10. You have to keep that 1. Now, I'm going this direction. I'm going from a larger unit to a smaller unit. And when I do that, that means I'm going to multiply by 1,000. So what's 4 times 1,000? Okay, you should do this in your head, right? Isn't that going to be 4,000? That would be the correct answer. So the answer is going to be 4,000. Okay, now you've got 1, 2, 3. Now when you multiply, your decimal goes this way and you add zeros and you get 4,000. I know I did that really fast. Boys and girls, this is the easiest way to do it. So hopefully I'm there to teach you this lesson, or I can teach it to you again another way. Thank you for listening to me today. Today we were converting units of length either in metric or in customary. Both systems are different, but yet the work is the same. You can use this method that I just showed you for metric, or you can use the book's method for doing metric. All right, boys and girls, thank you. Happy math.